Wondering how to write better blog posts so that you're getting more readers, they're sticking around longer? Well, this is the perfect video for you if that's your goal. Hello everyone, I'm Marc Guberti, the teenager entrepreneur, and in this video I'm going to share with you 10 different ways to improve your content. The ability to improve your content is important because readers, they like to see the content at the very beginning, and if the content does not have a strong pull, they're not going to stick around. So with that said, you really want to work on creating epic content so your readers do stick around. So the first way to improve your content, it all goes into the preparation. So what I mean by preparation is have an outline. So for all of my YouTube videos, for all of my blog posts, I always have an outline. Here is the outline for this particular video. If I lose that outline, I have to create a new outline, cancel this whole video, but luckily I have the outline right here. So create an outline, because then you're not thinking about, oh, what am I gonna talk about in my content? You know what you're going to talk about already, and now instead of asking myself, what am I going to say, what am I going to write about, you're asking, how can I improve? How can I make this better? And you will literally be asking yourself this question on the fly and improving your content on the fly, because you already have the outline set up. You already know what your content should cover. It's just a matter of how in-depth you could go on these particular topics that you already know. The second way to improve your content is to practice. I mean, there really cannot be a video like this unless it mentions practicing, because you cannot really perfect a skill or get good at something or great at something without practicing. So every single day, write some content. It doesn't matter if it's 100 words, 200 words, or 10,000 words if you want to write a lot. So just do something every single day. Do some practice. The more time you spend practicing, the better your content is going to be. So if you look at my blog, and I don't delete any of my blog posts, you could see my first bunch of blog posts. They were bad. So now, if you look at the blog, if you look at the first page, you're going to see a lot of great content there. If you look at the first 2 or 3 pages of the whole blog, you're going to get a completely different view. I got really good at writing by practicing every single day. I must have typed 1 million words total for all of my blogs and all of my ebooks and all of my Kindle books. So it comes from that practice, years and years of focused practice that allowed me to become a really good writer. The third way to improve your content is to establish a writing style. And what I mean by writing style is, you know that you have an intro, you know how you're going to talk about your key points, and you have a conclusion. So if you look at my latest blog posts, you will see that they follow a particular pattern. There's the intro. There's then a lead-in to all the different tips that I cover. Then I mention a tip, some text beneath it going more in detail, and after all the tips are mentioned, conclusion. At the very end of the conclusion, 2 to 3 questions, and then please comment in the comment section below. So that's basically the pattern, the writing style that I use to crank out all of this content. And having the writing style, it's just one less thing that you have to think about as you are writing the content. So instead of thinking, where's this gonna go? How do I fit this in there? What you do instead is, you know where everything is going to fit. And with the outline, you already know everything you have to talk about. And then the constant thing you're doing and you are asking yourself is, how can I make this content even better as you are writing it? The fourth way to improve your content is to do more reading. Read more blog posts, read more books, because that's going to help you get exposed to different writing styles. You're going to like some more than others, and it's going to increase your knowledge in your niche. So I'd like to add an asterisk: read books and blog posts related to your niche so that you have more to say, you have more expertise, and the more expertise you have, the more that flows into your writing, and then the more epic your content becomes. So with reading, do a little of it each day. And you know what? You've heard a lot of it from me. Do a little bit each day. It's a key thing to know. If you do something each day, just a little bit, doesn't matter how much time you put into it, you are going to get better, you are going to make progress, it's going to develop into a habit, and then your content is going to become epic. The fifth way to improve your content is to proofread it, because no matter how great you are at writing content, there are going to be mistakes. And you would rather see those mistakes and have to correct yourself than one of your readers seeing the mistake and saying, you got that mistake there. Because the thing about mistakes, especially typos, especially grammatical errors, is that one of those things can take away the whole value of your blog post in the eye of the reader. And that reader will look at the typo and think, oh, typo. And then the focus in the reader's mind is typo, 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 instead of great content, great content, great content. So the typos or the grammatical errors can really take that away from you. And if you are not into proofreading, because it takes a lot of time, here's where the sixth method of content improvement comes in: hire an editor. Even if you do proofread, it's good to have another set of eyes on your content, but hiring an editor is especially useful when you feel crunched as a writer, you're writing blog posts left and right, but you never really have time to proofread them. That's where the editor comes into play. The seventh way to improve your content is through content research. And content research is simply you looking up areas within your niche that are relevant to the blog post or video that you are about to write or video you're about to produce, and you grab different examples that you can use relevant to the topic you are discussing. So for this particular way to improve your content, I assigned that to my editor. She is going through the research and adding different things to make my content even better. Content research is just a way to appear more sophisticated, but not to the point of sophistication where you're able to like blow past 8th grade vocabulary and then you get to college level vocabulary. You don't want to do that in a blog post. Make it so that a 4th grader can read it, because you do not want to write a blog post that is above people and that people cannot understand, because you're using these high level SAT words that people don't really know the meanings of unless they are studying for the SAT. The 8th way to improve your content is to go in depth. So when you have a topic idea, go into it, do as much as you possibly can relating to that topic. And the reason you want to do that is because you can provide more examples, you can provide more insights, and that's going to result in better content. Now, there is a difference between going in depth and providing value and making it go on and on and on. You want to make sure that going in depth is also going in depth in value. So it's not like you're adding fluff just to make it 2,000 words so that Google loves your blog post. No, that's not what we're doing here. You want to go in depth, provide a lot of epic value, and then the more epic value you provide, the better your content will be. The 9th way to improve your content is to provide examples. And a lot of that goes into content research, as I mentioned earlier, but that also comes to personal examples. So examples of how you have taken action based on what you are writing, or how you experience a particular part of your journey relevant to the topic you are discussing. So don't be afraid to use yourself as an example. And using yourself as an example is especially good because readers get to know you better. And there are going to be some people who, the more they read your content, the more they're going to become loyal visitors. And these are the types of people who really want to know a lot about your backstory, what you do, how you got to where you're at. So mention those examples within your blog posts to not just make them better, and of course books and videos also, not just to make them better, but to also strengthen that connection between you and your visitors. And the 10th way to write better content is to get in the writing flow, or with video, get into the video producing flow. So this flow is when you're just cranking it, producing content, and that means you're producing it without looking back. So it's doing 10 videos in a row without editing a single one of them. You do all the editing later. It's writing 10 blog posts in a row without looking back to proofread any of the paragraphs you have written. You do the proofreading or you do the video editing later. there's going to be a phase when you're creating content and you do nothing but create content until you are done creating that content for the day. And then that's when you proofread, or that's when you do video editing. Because if you have to shift from one thing to the other thing, go back and then go back and forth, go back and forth again, what's going to happen is there's going to be a delay in productivity. And this is true. If you focus on writing, but then all of a sudden you focus on proofreading, there is a time frame that it takes to get back into productivity. The time frame from going from here to, in this case, turning your head slowly and going here. But if you go from one activity to the next, you're going to have to adjust a little bit. Now, it may just take 2 minutes for some people. Some people may seem automatic, but it's not. What's going to happen is that the more you do that, the more you shift back and forth, the more distracted you are going to be, and then you're going to do 2 things at a mediocre level of productivity versus doing one thing at a high level of productivity and then going back to the other area and then doing that at a high level of productivity. You constantly want to be a high level of productivity, and that means focusing on content creation exclusively, or focusing on video creation exclusively. And then when you are not creating videos, you are editing them, you go all in on the editing. It's not like you go from one thing to the other to one thing to the other. You are going to just hone in on the creation phase and then hone in on the polishing phase. So the polishing phase is just editing or proofreading, depending on blog post or video. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I answer all of your questions if you leave them in the comments. I even have a Q&A series, and my free ebook, 27 Simple Ways to Get More Blog Subscribers, is great for any blogger who wants to get more eyeballs on their content and grow a loyal audience. And if you are a new visitor to this channel, I'd highly love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way I can send you more videos just like this one, and we could definitely stay in touch. So, signing off, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope it has served you, and what I want you to do is to dream big, achieve greatness, and unlock your potential today.